performances of books. What are and aren't we allowed to do when it comes to reading books in public, specifically at events and parties? Today we're talking to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer, Tony, to find out more to make sure you're legally protected and not doing something that could get you sued.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called the IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
A question that's come up a lot, Tony, is whether or not we can read books at public appearances. And we've had a conversation about whether or not you can do live streams, whether or not you can do readings at libraries and schools and things like that of novels. But one of the spin-off questions we often get is whether or not we can be reading picture books in public, and specifically, can we be reading them at events like parties? So are people able to do their character acting gigs and also read picture books at these appearances?
So the likely answer is going to be no, unfortunately, mainly because if it's not reading a novel like a Cam Robinson novel or any other author's novel on Instagram Live or TikTok, it's no different than having some type of public read of a children's book, whether we're talking about like a Shel Silverstein book or, Amelia Bedelia or any of these other kids' books out there, right? The reason is because just as an author that writes a full-fledged 500-page novel has rights to enforce, children's book author X has rights to enforce under copyright law, because a book that just contains, 5 words per page or 10 words per page with a massive picture on the side still has rights to enforce at the end of the day, because they invested that time and effort, for the writing aspect of things, especially because you have to write in simplified manner for a child. And then even think about the illustrator that invested the time and effort as well into that book. Now, the fun appeal of children's book is, of course, like I think of the days when I was in kindergarten, much simpler times, nap time, juice box time. You got to read a book what's this, adulting? Yeah, exactly. Being a kindergartner is where it's at. But I remember the times where my kindergarten teacher would read books to us. And I think that's a different scenario, because in that fact pattern, it's more of like an educational type of setting. That's where you're actually actively learning. And so when you're getting books under the guise of a school, you're almost getting like some sort of like educational license, de facto educational license, to be able to exhibit and share, read those books aloud to those children. But there's like a different scenario with a birthday party. It's entertainment. There's a different appeal to it. If it's done in coordination with, let's say, a character that is cosplaying as some other character, there adds a little bit of a layer of complexity now. So odds are birthday parties for kids are also a no-go in a situation like this.
So if they do then want to read those books as part of a performance, what steps do they need to take to make sure that they are legally protected while using those books in the middle of the parties or the events that they are a part of?
Yeah, it's very simple, actually. All you have to do is contact your publisher. You're essentially asking for the right to publicly perform that book. I think that if you were, and I'm speaking more to the people that are in this professional space of birthday entertainment, if this is part of your gig, if this is what you do in terms of performing live and also, reading or doing something like this, it's no different than if you were to get some type of license from ASCAP, BMI, or some other PRO to sing songs in a birthday party, as it is to read a book in the same birthday parties. So contacting the publisher saying, hey, I want to read this book at this birthday party. We've got 25 kids, 30 kids, 50 kids coming. Is this okay? And, odds are they'll probably either give you a gratis license, just give you the okay, or maybe they'll give you a minimal license. If this is a consistent practice of your business, where, let's say, again, you're a professional birthday performer and this is part of your whole business, what appeals parents, or what makes you appealing to parents, then that's where, maybe making this as more of like a consistent license with the publisher is kind of going to be the way to go. So having a formalized in a license agreement format. But bottom line is asking for permission. It's the way to go here. And, I will say this. You may get away with it with more archaic books like public domain books because there is no right to that.
Right.
It's the newer books. It's the more contemporary books that becomes problematic. But if we're talking about older books, like even if you wanted to read now the A. Milne version of Winnie the Pooh, that's in the public domain, so you can go ahead and read that. Might be a bit long of a birthday party, and all the kids don't want to sit there and read the whole thing, but it's something. It's definitely something. So just be mindful of that as well. That's something else to consider in this whole fact pattern.
And if you are a performer who does wish to read books as part of your performance, I'm just going to shout out that while you absolutely should be hanging out with the publishers, with the popular books, you can always reach out to indie authors who will more than likely be more than happy to allow you to have these performances just with a license granted to you, because it's a lovely thing to do. So I highly recommend looking outside of the scope of the teeny tiny box of traditional publishing that we often look to. You want to make sure that you are reaching out, getting that proper permission, and hosting your parties in a way that's going to benefit you, the kids, the parents, everyone involved, but also serve the author, the illustrator, etc., associated with those books. For questions on this, go ahead and drop them down below, and you can always reach out to Tony on his social medias for immediate questions that you need answered right now. So Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor.
If you have questions, drop those down below and hit that subscribe and notification bell, because Tony is coming back for more legal-based episodes about the publishing industry and how it could potentially impact you and your profitability this year. We're also dropping daily videos to help you navigate the writing and reading world so that we can level you up so you spend less time and effort creating more content to be able to make more money online inside of your publishing platform. We'll see you in the next episode.